The Limpopo Department of Health is under scrutiny following a mass burial of approximately 40 unclaimed bodies in just two paupers' graves. This raises serious legal and ethical concerns, and the remains allegedly buried without caskets by a funeral parlour contracted by the department have prompted a joint investigation by health and forensic officials. And as the pressure mounts, questions are being raised about whether proper burial protocols and dignity for the deceased were upheld. Limpopo Health Department spokesperson Neil Shikwambana is on the line with us, and you can join us anytime on 0861987000. Neil, thank you for joining us. Thobela, welcome to Power Lunch.
Pabi Moloi, and Thobela to all your listeners.
Okay, so, this is quite a story. Can you clarify the department's decision to bury 40 individuals, 40 bodies in only two graves?
So I think we need to clarify that part, that it was the department's decision. It was never the department's decision. So perhaps if you can spare me 30 seconds to explain the process. So this.
While you do that, Neil, we can hardly hear you. It feels like you might be driving and you're on a hands-free. So I don't know if there's any way you can pull over that's safe for you so that you can speak directly into the phone. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Much better. Thank you very much. So please clarify that for us. Whose decision was it?
So ordinarily, what happens is that if you've got people who are deceased and stayed in your mortuary for a particular period, because in this instance, these are people who died out of unnatural causes, and it was part of SAP's investigation into their cause of death. But nobody came forth to claim their bodies, and SAPS was satisfied that these people have got no one to claim. So according to the law, after they've done everything, they are allowed to then, working together with our forensics, to declare them as paupers and to be buried as such. Now, according to Section 48 of the National Health Act, it then becomes the responsibility of the local municipality where that mortuary is to actually bury those people. Now, the challenge a bit of a disintegration in terms of functionality between us and local government is that most municipalities still struggle with that part because some do not have budgets and whatnot. So from time to time where there are struggles, because it's us who've got pressure of storage, we chip in to get in-service providers to do the work, working together with the municipality on other issues like land use and so on. Now, in this instance, we worked together with them. We contracted a service provider to bury these people at the municipal lands. So apparently what happened from the prelims that we got from the municipality is that the service provider colluded with an official of the municipality that instead of digging those 40 graves and buying those 40, they then chose to utilize only two graves to put those people inside there. How do we know this? We know this because apparently the municipality has already established that fact from their side, and they're busy with disciplinary process with the person involved. So now, last week we got a letter from the SAPS to say they need our assistance with forensics to exhume those bodies.
Oh, wow.
Because one of the families came forth and is claiming one of the bodies. So we then contacted the municipality to look for the grave number where that person could have been buried. Because even if they are paupers, even if they cannot be identified in terms of name, you should know that for this batch you have 40 graves and it's grave number 1, number 2, number 3. So that's when the officials of the municipality failed to what we call. So that's how it came about to say there seems to have been some kind of collusion between the municipal official and the service and the undertaker was contracted to do the burial. So that's what got us here, and this is very concerning, I must say, as I've already indicated. Also from our part, because ordinarily this is not how it's supposed to be done. Even if people are paupers, they still deserve a dignified burial.
What you're saying brings up two things to me. First of all, you said that official is undergoing a disciplinary hearing, and whilst I understand in labor law and what needs to happen, yes, that is the process you're supposed to take. But this would sound like cause for immediate dismissal should it be proven that he is in fact the partner who made this happen. But secondly, if there is a possibility of collusion with funeral parlors or with undertakers, surely that means that there could possibly be a collusion to not really investigate whether these people have families. I mean, if you're saying one family member now has come to the fore, how thorough do we know the research to be to find these quote unquote paupers families?
So those are separate processes. Fortunately, the research, as you put it, or the investigation, is purely a sub-process. It's got nothing to do with the funeral parlor or the municipality. So these are sub-cases. Let's say, for instance, it's a person who got knocked down by a vehicle, or they got shot and they admitted at the government forensic pathology service center, and then police opens an inquest or murder case or whatever case they open, and then investigate it. But on the process, they can't really link him to anyone. They don't know who is this person, where is he coming from. Nobody's coming forth to claim them. So that purely is a sub-person. Fortunately, it's a sub-say responsibility. It's got nothing to do with the service providers. But what I also need to indicate is that the investigation that you spoke about earlier has to also do with criminal activities, because in terms of how people should be buried, in terms of Environmental Health Act and other acts that govern these kind of things, you cannot bury people under those. But also there are contract management issues, because if you look at it, ordinarily these people should have been the service provider should have actually purchased adequate land to buy the graves where these people are supposed to have been buried, and also coffins. So the investigation is multifold in the sense that there is our own internal investigation, but we're also conducting our own audits again to look at a number of issues related to this kind of issues. But also SAPS on its side should also look at issues of criminal activity, because this is clearly criminal.
Do we have enough land for burial space? What's the update there? Because, you know, we've heard a lot, especially here in Soweto, that it's full, hence new private graveyards are being opened. But from the municipalities across the country, what can you tell us?
Look, I might not be able to be sure about that, because that's not necessarily my space. But absolutely, it's got nothing to do with shortage of land. It's just a case of pure criminality that taken place. Because even if you look at the kind of cemetery who were buried, there's still burial space there. There's no indication that the cemetery on itself is full.
All right, we'll leave it there for now. Neil Shikwambana, drive safely, Limpopo Health Department spokesperson. I feel like I have come out of this with more questions than answers. And so I think it would be great to speak to someone from the municipality at some point, actually, because they're in charge of the process, according to Ndade Shikwambana. And then I do want to go a little bit deeper into, you know, the issue of the space that we have in South Africa for burial grounds. But if you think about what also has been mentioned here by the spokesperson, is the fact that there is somebody within that department, in that municipality, who colluded with somebody else to make sure that they have an easier job for the same amount of money. Instead of burying 40 holes or digging 40 graves, they dug 2 graves and just chucked the unclaimed bodies into those graves. He had a price. And how I started the show was, everyone has a price. And you think about, can you sleep at night? First of all, knowing that you haven't done the right job. Secondly, knowing that it means there's no respect for the bodies of the dead. And you're fine with that because you have a price. Everybody's got a price. Think about it.